Did you know that the way a person walks, if you understand the balancing of the body, you can almost predict what future injuries they will endure? Today, we're going to talk about how you walk, how that can affect other parts of your body, and why we can't get that right. Stay tuned. Oh, don't forget to subscribe down below, ring the bell, leave comments. I always love your comments. And again, share this with your friends if you think it will help. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Muscle Repair Shop. My name is Butch Phelps, and today I want to talk about how the way we walk can determine future injuries in our body. For most of us, we were taught how to walk when we were 2 years old, and that was the last time anyone ever talked to us about walking unless you'd had a serious injury. The truth of the matter is when you think about who taught us how to walk, it was our moms and our dads in most cases. Well, their moms and dads taught them, and their moms and dads taught your grandparents, and so on. But the fact is, maybe they didn't know how to walk correctly. So if your parents walked incorrectly, chances are so will you, because not only did they teach you how to walk, which really came down to, can this kid walk without banging their nose on the floor? And then once you had your balance, it was, yay, he's walking or she's walking, to the fact that you were going to model behind your parents. In other words, however your parents walk, the chances are you may walk the same way. But once you understand how mechanically important your feet and your lower legs are, you can start to see as you watch friends and neighbors walk around that most people walking around us today are just a future injury away from having some serious problems throughout their body. The sad part, very few people will say to you, this started in your feet. And how odd is that? So one of the things when I started getting into the muscle world was I was not really interested in feet and lower legs. That was not my thing. However, as I started to study the human body from an engineering standpoint, looking at the muscles, what I realized was our feet and our calves are the foundation to what I would call a skyscraper type of building. So when you think about a skyscraper in the larger cities that are 70, 80, 90 stories tall, then the foundation has to be built in a way that as the wind shifts and so forth, it can balance the building so that the building won't just fall down. Well, our feet and our lower legs do the same thing in our body. Unfortunately, we have industries that are trying to just focus on the pain in our feet that is disrupting that foundation. And what we're finding is that you get people who change the way they walk because either they've already fallen or they're afraid they may fall because they had close calls. And so they shorten their stride. And as they do that over time, it starts to affect the human body. So here's a quick thing that you can do that's really fun to do. And after a while, you may become obsessive about it. But anyway, try it. So the next time that you're out and you're with your friends, family, or maybe you're just sitting in a park or the beach and just watching people walk, look at their feet. I typically look at 1 foot at a time. And what I'm looking for is not that their feet will bend at their toes, as some people will be able to do that. But what I'm looking for is, does the foot bend in the middle around where the arch is? Are their ankles bending? And if they're not, in other words, if they're walking where their feet stays flat the whole time, I then will look up their body, and as I look up their body, when I get to their pelvic area, you'll notice that the torso of the body will be leaning forward, but more importantly, as you go all the way up to the head, their nose will be out in front of their chest. Now, if you stood up for a second, and as you're standing straight and tall, you feel the weight of your body spread evenly over your feet, right? If you lean slightly forward, notice how your weight shifts to the front of your foot, around the ball of your foot. So the balance then comes into play from the muscles in the feet and the muscles in your calf and shin area on the lower leg. So when a person is walking like that, where their foot is not bending, their ankle is not bending, They're walking from using the muscles on the front of their thighs and their inner thighs. Over time, this is going to develop into low back pain, neck and shoulder pain, head forward posture, pinched nerves, bulging disc, damaged hips, damaged knees. All of those things come into play only because that over the years of their life, they walked badly. So again, go back to that building, that 90-story skyscraper. If the foundation is bad, the risk of that building falling down is very high. And that could kill a lot of people. In the case of our feet, which is our foundation and our lower legs, it may not kill a lot of people, but it can certainly make your life very miserable. So there were 3 things that I wrote in my recent newsletter as I was talking about this. The top 3 reasons that these things happen to people beyond the fact that they were just taught badly how to walk right from the beginning. Number 1 was the shoes. Now, there's podiatry that talks about never walk on hard surfaces with bare feet. Always want to have shoes with support. And so our whole life, especially those of us who are older, all we've heard is good shoes have arch supports and heel supports and thick cushiony soles to make the foot as comfortable as possible. And what I want you to keep in mind is that whether you're a podiatrist or a knee specialist or a neurologist or whatever type of physician you are or therapist you are, our training is based on how can we stop that pain far more than what actually caused that pain. Because if there's not something that's easily identifiable, many times you can have a pain without really knowing what's causing that pain to happen, and boy, isn't that frustrating. So the thing is, if you go in and my arches are hurting, doc, or the ball of my foot is sore, or my heels are sore, the easy fix is to put a pad in there or to put a special shoe on that cushions the foot so that whenever you walk badly, you can prevent that pain from happening. The problem is that it has repercussions. Number 1, you slowly get to a point that you cannot walk barefoot because the foot becomes too sensitive to do that. Number 2, now when you start to walk, instead of bending your ankles the way they're supposed to, instead of the foot bending the way it's supposed to, now we're walking with our thighs and we're tilting our pelvis forward and tilting our head forward, which, like I said earlier, causes a plethora of issues there. So when you look at the human foot, we're looking at a foot that has 33 joints, 29 muscles, and 26 bones. When you look at the calf, most of us think that's one solid muscle, but that's actually 4 muscles on the back side. You have 3 muscles on the front side in the shins, and you have muscles in between the 2 bones in the lower leg so that the lower leg can rotate your whole body. And I know most of you think rotation comes from the hips, and as I've shown to many golfers, the rotation starts in the calf area of your body and then works its way up. But you got to have those muscles softened and the tension in all those muscles released so that you can take that pressure off. Because if the muscles in your calves are hard, you're going to increase the torque on your knee every time you rotate or twist your body. If the muscles in your feet are hard, you're going to damage the joints in your foot, which is going to cause more foot pain and probably wind up in surgery as well from that. So the thing is that wearing those shoes is like putting on a cast when there's too much padding in the shoe, and you can't really go through and work those joints in your feet and the joints in the lower leg. And this causes the joints to tighten on you and squeeze out what's called synovial fluid that the body naturally puts into those joints. Now, the thing to think about with synovial fluid, it's like a WD-40. It's a lubricant and it's a cushioning agent that helps the body move much better. When your feet are as soft, in other words, if you rub the arch of your foot, if it's as soft as the palm of your hand, that's where you want it to be. If you rub between the bones of your toes on the top of your foot in here, and it's as soft as on the back of your hand, that's where you want to be. You want your ankle to bend more than 90 degrees. So if you take like a yoga strap or a rope, nothing elastic, and you pull your foot back towards you with your leg straight out in front of you, your ankle should actually bend more than 90 degrees. And when that happens, Now the body can go back to balancing itself and the whole body stands up much straighter. So many times people think in the aging process as we get older that humped over walking like an old man or an old woman is a natural part of aging. The reality is that's just not true. That's a natural part of walking badly for a whole lifetime is what that comes down to. And that has terrible repercussions on the back end of your life. If we can start talking about how to walk correctly so that you can move properly, your whole body will stay in alignment. Now, one of the things when you take a step, now a lot of times when I talk about strides, people think, you want to reach way out for a longer stride. That's not what I'm talking about, because as you reach out, you're going to hit your heel first. What I'm talking about is as you step forward with your foot will hit on the whole foot, and as it does that, this will allow you to propel yourself from the toes of the back foot, and then as you go through, the ankle then can bend beyond the 90 degrees, and once it does that, now you can step on the whole foot, on the rear foot that's now going forward. So this allows the body then to stay in a straight upright positioning without you leading with your head. If you try to reach too far with a longer stride, you're going to lead with your nose, which is going to put tension in your shoulders and your neck. If you take too short of a stride, you're going to be leading with your thighs, and that's going to put tension in the lower back. So when you step out, you want to step and feel the whole foot that's stepping. Now, I would practice this barefoot or with your socks on in a hallway where you have a wall next to you so that if you lose your balance, you can hold yourself up. But the thing is that you want to practice this. And when you step out, you should step on the whole foot and feel the toes on the back foot pushing you forward as you start to walk. It'll take a little bit of practice. I worked on people in their 60s and 70s to help them change the way they walk, and they were just amazed at how much better they felt and how much more confident they felt when they walked. Now, the other part about shoes is that they talk about thick, cushiony soles, and the thing to think about with that, if the soles are too thick, the nerves on the bottom of your feet can't read the change in the level of the ground or the gradation of the ground, and it can't send the messages to the brain to have it to adjust the muscles so that you don't fall down. So thick, cushiony soles put you at a higher risk of falling than the thinner sole does. Number two would be sitting too much. Now, some of you have jobs that require you to sit a lot, and some of you just have a sedentary lifestyle if you're retired. The thing is either way, you want to find ways to get up and get moving and start to get your body back moving again and get into a standing position. And even if that means just standing up at your desk or standing up out of your chair, but every 45 minutes or so, just stand up. And if you have the ability to walk around, walk around. Get your body where you get the front of your body back free again, because so many times when you're in a seated position, the muscles on the front side of the body start to tighten, and then that shows up as pain over on the back side. Number three is going to be weak muscles. Weak muscles come from a sedentary lifestyle. And so some people will go to the gym to build up their muscles. There are other things you can do, like if you have the ability to do it, choose to take stairs versus elevators or escalators. If you're going to the store, park further away from the door, walk in. If you can walk to the store, walk to the store and do things. But make choices that forces you to do some type of movement and exercise to keep these muscles stronger. Because keep in mind that from age 30 on, you're losing a percentage of your muscle mass every single year. Now, the other side of that coin is for most people as they age, they don't take in enough protein to help their bodies build better muscle mass. Now, a rule of thumb that I've heard was that you have 1 gram of protein each day for every pound that you weigh. That can be pretty challenging, and I know myself, I'm working to do those things myself. That can be pretty challenging, but the average person in America today takes in about 40 to 50 grams at the most of protein. We should be closer to 100 grams at least to help our body start building more and more muscle with that. So the idea here is to get yourself moving, get yourself eating a better diet, reducing your body weight if you have fat on your body will go a long ways in helping you to have less weight to push around as you're walking. And I've had other videos that's in my channel as well that you can see on better ways of eating. If you'd like to have us do more videos on it, my wife, who is a retired dietitian, she and I can have a conversation about that. And that will help you into how can you better eat to reduce your body fat but increase your muscle mass. And I think that as we age, that's a very important thing. Whether you're 20, 30, 40, or 80, doesn't matter. Everybody's aging, and we need to be cognizant of those things. So I hope this is helpful. If it is, please, again, subscribe down below, ring the bell, share this with your friends, and as always, leave comments if you want to know more about body weight exercise, if you want to know more about how to eat better. Please leave comments down below, and I'll do what I can to make sure we get that information to you. But for now, see ya.